Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to be giving the X1C some love again. It's been a little while since we've upgraded it, and our friends over at Big Tree Tech sent over two really cool items that will help us upgrade it a little bit more. If you've been a member of the channel for a while, you know that we've put a ton of upgrades from Big Tree Tech on the X1C and a couple on the H2D. And they are a great company and have great products and great upgrades for all printers, not just bamboo. So be sure to go to the website in the link below and check them out and see everything that they got. Now, they did send me their status bar and an interior light upgrade free of charge, but they didn't have any editorial control over this video, and they're not compensating me in any way. So in today's video, we're going to go over installing the new light as well as the status bar and see exactly how much plugging and playing we need to do to get these things working. They're supposed to be fairly easy to get in there and get working. So we'll see exactly what that looks like today. So if you have a P series or an X series printer, then today's video is perfect for you. And these are some more great upgrades by our friends at Big Tree Tech. So if all that sounds good, then sit back and relax and I'll get everything ready. All right, so before we jump in, we do actually need a little mounting shelf for the control boards for each of these little lights. And it's cool that Biqu, Big Tree Tech, has all of their STL and print files right here on their web or on their page in Maker World. So be sure to follow them if you do any of the upgrades for them. All of their 3D print files can be found here. So let's go ahead and jump into Bamboo Studio. We need two of these little guys here. I've already got it all set up. Didn't change anything from just directly downloading it. Looks like they did change something in the strength. And they changed it to an adaptive sparse infill pattern. We'll go ahead and slice the plate. Looks like it's going to be about 45 minutes. So let's go ahead and get that started. And while that's running, we'll take a look at the first light. All right, so what is the Panda Lux for? I think this is the best picture of exactly what this is for. In the X1C, it's really, really dark in there whenever you try to record or do any of your time lapses or anything like that, or even just looking through the front glass here is fairly dark and it's hard to kind of see inside of there. For the longest time, I've had a studio key light on the top of this one shining down into it to provide more light just for my YouTube channels whenever I record things or do time lapses or whatever. So it's pretty cool that they have this for your P1S, P1P, X1C, X1E, any of the P or X series printers, but they also have one for the A1 series as well as the A1 Mini. And I think somewhere down here they show that one. So if you have an A1 or an A1 Mini, yeah, you could put a light strip on this bar right here, which really brightens it up and it'll make any of your time lapses or anything like that way, way, way better. So if you're recording any of that on your A1 or A1 Mini, be sure to pick this thing up for $8. It's pretty inexpensive. So now let's take a look at the status bar. All right, so here we are on the website for the status bar. And really what the status bar is I think they say H2D style lighting. So you get a little light under the print bed here, and it gives you the status, 30%, 60%, complete, standby, paused, error, preparing, downloading, similar to how my H2D will have a light on the bottom there as it's printing, as you can see right here. So if we want the same thing on the X1C, then this is how to do it. There's a mobile app coming soon that will help to control it. We'll see how it controls now. You'll see side by side H2D and Panda status. We'll see how to get it in there and everything. We'll take a look at the installation of everything and do that. If you have a print farm, this would be super handy, especially if you have P series or X series printers. So this at a quick glance could let you know exactly how all of your printers are doing. It's compatible with the P1P, P1S, X1C, X1E, and A1 printers. Looks like you can put it under the print bed of the A1 as well. High temperature durability, so as you're printing in the enclosed thing, it should be fine. And here's all the technical techno babble that it has. I think the one little gotcha right here is I do believe you have to connect to this and connect it to your Wi-Fi network. Make sure that you have your 2.4 gigahertz turned on for that. This is everything in the box. And here is some of the instant status updates. So now let's jump into the installation instructions for the Lux and get that put in, and then we'll take a look at the installation instructions for this and get it put in. All right, so here we are at the Big Tree Tech Wiki, and how I got there is just by scanning the QR code that was on the package of the Lux light. You'll see that all of the stuff that is in here, or all of the stuff that they offer is in here. So I would be sure to bookmark this wiki. So let's go ahead and take a look at the installation on here. And the first thing that we need to look at is the printer compatibility. Make sure you buy the right version of this. The one for the P1 or the P series comes with a really short USB cable. And the X1C requires a 2-meter USB cable. And we'll see why here in a minute. You can plug these into a Panda hub or a Panda branch or directly into a power supply. Installation on the P1 series. You see the little control board covers that we printed out. You need those. You connect that in there. And then on the inside of the printer on the front, so just behind the little screen right here, is where you plug in the USB and then plug in the light to the board and then attach the light and you're good to go. Super easy, ready to go. On the X series or the X1C like I have, it's going to be a little bit different. We'll still have the control board, but now we're going to need to connect it to a 2-meter cable or a 6-foot cable. And they want you to mount the control board and plug in the light right here in the front, and then route the cable out the back along the printer upper frame, loosen the screws on the back cover, lift it to pass through the hole. So you'll see right here where the filament comes in, that little rubber grommet, they want it to go out right there. I haven't done that yet. We'll check on that and see how that goes. So now let's talk about connecting to the Wi-Fi and everything like that. All right, so once you plug it into a power supply, a little blue light will shine back and forth on it, letting you know it's ready to connect. So on your phone or on any computer that has access to Wi-Fi, you want to pull up your network connections or your Wi-Fi settings and connect to this little Panda Lux RGB. So you will see that show up as a Wi-Fi network, and you'll need to connect to it. Once you connect to it, give it a couple of seconds and you'll see all of your Wi-Fi networks show up here. It didn't show up at first, but after a couple of seconds, after it kind of read all the networks, it showed up. Make sure it's a 2.4 gig network, so make sure that your network is set up on 2.4 gig. And then go ahead and connect with your password and you'll get that it has connected. And then once it's connected, you'll see that it's configuring a IP address and then Wi-Fi connection successful. And then you'll need to go to the printer binding page after that, which it will take you on your phone to the printer. It will take you on your phone to the printer binding page. Um, Once you get to the binding page, again, the printer select that is at the very top there, hit the scan button and give it 30-40 seconds, and you'll see that your printers show up on there. Now, I do have my printers on a separate VLAN and network and Wi-Fi network as everything else in my house. So make sure that you connect this to the same network that your printers are on if you have those on a separate network, like I showed in one of my previous videos. If you do have that on a separate network, make sure that you connect this one to that same network because they do need to be on that same network. So once you do that, you'll see your printer show up and you can select it, and it will show the IP address and the serial number of the printer, but it doesn't show the access code. So you will need to go into the LAN only mode section of your printer, which it shows in here, and you will need to get that access code and put the access code in here. So once your printer shows up on the printer select, the serial number and the IP address will show up on their own. And all you need to do is go find the access code and begin the binding process. Once everything is good to go, then binding is successful and you're basically good to go at that point. You don't really need to mess with any of these other settings. The last thing that you need to do is go into the control panel. So once this is set up on Wi-Fi and everything, go into your router settings and see what the IP address it's set up is. I think it'll show us in here as well on one of these, but I just went into my router settings. It's easy enough on there. And then all you need to do is type in that IP address. For me, it showed up as 192.168.6.145. Once I type that in, it brings up this. And you'll see that the control panel is here. Settings are here, printer, Wi-Fi, and IP. And then your access point settings are on the far right over here. Move my picture back down. So what's really cool is you can turn this on and off, set it to follow the printer light, warning override. You can turn these on and off, and this does work. As we can see, it's right here. Turn it off and on. And then you can change the effect to be strobing or just a static thing. And you can also change the color of the light as well. I want to keep it white and confirm. And you can also adjust the brightness and make it even brighter or not as bright, so you can really dial it in to get the right light for recording your time lapses or different things like that. So super easy to get this connected and do all of that. And I would imagine that the status bar that we hook up here in a minute is going to follow kind of the same suit here. So let me go ahead and get this installed in the X1C, and I'll see you when it gets done, or when I get done. All right, here we are in the X1C, and look how much brighter it is. And you can actually see part of the light right here. And then you'll see the little control board right up here. Took 10 minutes to put this thing together. It was not hard at all, and was easy to install in here as well. There's a little magnet, so this sticks up here. It's not the best magnet in the world, but it'll suffice. This little wire runs through here. You plug it into the control box. The hardest part was getting the USB in the back here. I didn't have to take anything apart. I just pushed out the little rubber grommet like it showed and just pushed the USB-C cable in and connected it right there. Super easy, and you can see now without any external light or anything, it's super bright in here for any of your time lapses and everything like that. So now let's go and install the status light. All right, so while the new case is printing here, let's go ahead and get a game plan of how to get the status bar in there. I'm assuming it's going to be fairly similar to that. I'm guessing we're going to probably stick the little thing to the bottom of the plate somehow, run a wire to the back, and then probably run it up to the control panel or that control board, and then the USB out the back. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and get a game plan going here. So we'll put this in the little spring loaded thing there. And so this is where I ran that first cable through, and it was real easy to just pop this off and stick the cable through. But it comes with a replacement for this that has a little notch in it. So that'll be great for this one. It probably is only big enough for one USB, so it might bulge out a little bit with two of them in there. You could always get a 2-to-1 USB cable if you're going to run both the Lux as well as the status bar here. Comes with the extra long USB-C cable, and you'll see that it shows it going through. This is exactly how I ran the other device. And then you'll see the USB cable plugs in there. And then it looks like from the control board to the light, we're going to need to route that stuff in there. So you'll see the compliant mechanism or spring or whatever holding that in place. And the USB-C cable going out. And it looks like we plug into the control board here. And yeah, that's what I thought. You're going to need to route it down through this set of cables right here. Ooh, it just shows going on the side right there. It has like these strips of tape that I'm guessing that you're going to stick over this here. Yeah, see these little strips of tape right here. Then it's showing it going down to the bottom left edge. Right there. And then you get this ready. Plug it in. Unstick all of these stickers. And then it looks like, yeah, right on the front. And this tab goes on the bottom of the tray there. And then we're going to want to route the wire out. And then you're going to want to leave this slack here so it can move up and down without getting tangled up. So that looks fairly straightforward. So while the case continues to print right here, why don't we go ahead and plug everything in and see if it connects the same way. Actually, we can just scroll down and see. This is all for the A1. And then, yeah, same thing. Now we're going to just find the Panda status. Same 9876543. And it looks like the same type of setup that we did before. Yeah, this looks identical to the other light. And if so, it'll be super duper easy. So while this is printing, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in and get everything set up and see how that goes. And if I run into any issues, I'll let you know. All right, so I plugged everything in, connected to it just like the other one. The hardest part was finding the little access code or whatever. You don't need to turn LAN only mode on. I still have it turned off, but you do need the little access code that is in there. So I put all of that stuff in there. Everything's good to go. One thing that if you have multiple printers that you want to put the status bar on, you might want to change the AP name or your host name or whatever to a different name, so you can have this printer 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever you happen to need. You can factory reset it, update everything from here. It's real easy. Once you connect it, it binds really, really fast, and then you can set everything up. So the way that I set it up, and here you can have multiple devices. You can have music or H2D. I selected the H2D. For idle, I selected white. For printing, I selected yellow. For error, I selected red. And I believe when it's done, it turns green. And that's why I didn't do green in the printing there. You can change that to any color that you want, just like we did before. But everything's ready to go and set up. I just need to let this finish printing. And then I'll get everything installed, and then we'll do a test print on it and check out the little status on it. All right, so I'm done installing it. It did take a little bit longer than the just the light, just because you have to route the cable is a little bit fiddly. This part was a little bit fiddly getting this back in, and you do need to run this tube all the way back through this little guy right here. It was really, really hard and trying to kink until I wet the PTFE tube and it slid right in there. So a little trick on there is be sure to wet your PTFE tube. All right, so here we are back in Bamboo Studio with the Nimitz Benchy, and you'll see that we have the X1C and the status bar right there. So right now it's white. You see it kind of breathing or whatever for status being ready. So let's go ahead and slice the model here, and we'll go ahead and print the plate, and we'll take a look at how the status bar changes. Now, as far as like the light control from here, whenever you turn the light off, it turns the standard one off on the side, and then like a second later, the one that we just installed will turn off as well. I might fast forward through here while it gets the heat bed heated up and all of that fun stuff. All right, so once it did its calibrations and flow calibration and heated up the heat bed and all of that, you'll see that the progress bar is now working. I went ahead and turned off the lamp on the inside so you could see that a little bit better, but I'll show you that you can control the lamp from here. You'll see the Bamboo one come on first, and then the Panda one come on like a second or two later. And then same thing when I turn it off. There's like a little bit of a lag. But you can see that the status bar is working. So that's really, really cool. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to smash the like button. Go check out Big Tree Tech and Biqu's website for all of their cool upgrades for all of their 3D printers. Be sure to smash the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. Next week's video will be can't miss. And join us on the live streams for the month of October. Show off your Halloween decorations and win some filament from me. Until then, I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend. And thank you for watching.